Hello and welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to take a look at the special election for Arizona's 7th congressional district. We had the primary election for this special election today, and if you don't know, back in March, Democratic Congressman Raul Grijalva of Arizona's 7th congressional district, he did pass away, and a special election was called, and the general election will be in September, but the primary election for both the Democrats and the Republicans was held on Tuesday, July 15th. And the Democratic primary was pretty interesting because on one side you had Adelita Grijalva. She was a former member of the Pima County Board of Supervisors, and her father, former Congressman Grijalva, he was the one that held this seat and he passed away. And she's his daughter, and she ran for this seat in the special election. And Adelita Grijalva, she was backed by progressives and the Democratic establishment as well. It was kind of a weird dynamic because if we take a look at this Democratic primary, at the endorsements, Adelita Grijalva, she was endorsed by Bernie Sanders, and she was endorsed by AOC. She was endorsed by Pramila Jayapal, Maxwell Frost, Greg Casar. These are all considered, to be part of the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, but she was also endorsed by some moderate establishment Democrats as well, such as Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego, both whom serve as U.S. Senators from Arizona. So yeah, she had both progressive backing and establishment backing in the state of Arizona. But then on the other side, you've got Deja Foxx, who was endorsed by David Hogg. He was a former vice chair of the DNC, and he started a PAC to, elect younger Democrats to office. His goal is to basically get rid of older Democrats and primary them, replace them with younger Democrats. And so he basically endorsed her, and he campaigned for her. And then you had a third candidate in this race, Daniel Hernandez Jr., who is a former state representative, and he ran for Congress back in 2022 in the 6th district. And interestingly enough, back when former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords was shot in the early 2010s, she is the wife of current Senator Mark Kelly, but back when she was shot, Daniel Hernandez Jr., I believe, he was a staffer for her, and he helped to subdue the shooter, if I remember correctly. And but interestingly enough, Gabby Giffords, she did not endorse Daniel Hernandez Jr. She did endorse Adelita Grijalva, but so this was kind of framed by some as a progressive versus establishment type of race. Deja Foxx, she is 25 years old, and she tried to frame herself as the young progressive, and she tried to frame Adelita Grijalva as, the older establishment candidate. But really, that was kind of a mischaracterization of the race. Yes, Grijalva did have establishment backing, but she was also endorsed by a lot of strong progressive politicians. Well, Deja Foxx, really her main platform was, oh yeah, I'm this young Gen Z candidate, but really past that, she didn't really have anything that she ran on, and Adelita Grijalva ran on a progressive platform, and there was some polling done in this race, and the initial polling showed Grijalva with a huge lead, 49%, Hernandez at 11%, Deja Foxx at 5%, and then a similar result in this poll here done in May by Change Research. But then in late June, this was an internal poll done by Deja Foxx's campaign. It showed her down by just 8 points to Adelita Grijalva, and with Daniel Hernandez only at 9%. And Deja Foxx's campaign was very online. She had a lot of online support, but as we saw in the results of this race, that did not really translate to that many votes in the actual primary election. Grijalva, she currently has over 62% of the vote, with over 72% reporting the race has already been called for her, and Daniel Hernandez is in a close third place behind Deja Foxx. So I think this goes to show that it's not necessarily just young voters that are fueling the changes in the Democratic Party. Yes, there is a call to replace older Democrats with younger Democrats. That is certainly true. However, primarily this is ideologically driven. Grijalva, she may have been older than Deja Foxx. However, she was certainly branded as the more progressive candidate, and she ended up winning. And I think that speaks to the future of the Democratic Party. So yes, there is a push for younger candidates among Democrats, but more importantly, there is a push for more progressive candidates, and I think that this primary election showed that. So if you guys did enjoy, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a future upload, and I will see you all in the next video.